What's up, gang? Back at it. Washed this time, though. Officially washed. I know that's the running bit, but since I have been on last, we have been washed. Excited to be back. Excited to talk some TOC. I think we'll have an interesting conversation today because of how yucky last night's game was. And I think last night, a lot of times, when you look at the Ravens, you have guys like their quarterback, Lamar Jackson, the tight end, Mark Andrews. You get some wide receiver love from Marquise Brown. There's a lot of like playable cards typically, and not this time, right? They were pretty bad. But Pete's gonna join us in a few minutes, maybe like 5 or 10 minutes, and he's got some sweet projection stuff that I think we're gonna look at. We'll take a look at some of like the recent snags from the marketplace. But who we got here? Look at Sandy Chiefs in here with a new membership. We'd love to see that. Look at Kevin. Kevin's here for a live video. My Smiles hoodie. Check it out. Oh, there we go. I love that. I'm waiting for mine. I got my my package slips or whatever. My tracking numbers. Got those. What's up? Tea Time's here. Gerjot. Yeah, guys. So much love for the fresh and clean. Waiting room is open. Waiting more room is open. And Stan Loves 2 more caches this week. Last time we checked in with Stan Loves, I believe he shipped 1K in the low ball. I bricked out again. Really fun stuff. Really fun stuff. So why don't we go over some of the changes that happened this week in over in the Owners Club before Pete gets here. So I don't know if you all saw the announcement from Justin and TJ over at On the Moment. Also, shout out On the Moment, official sponsorship for Team Hold. But they USD. So you can actually buy things using the US dollar. Also, your balance you can now use. All you have to do is go through the KYC process. So just confirm you are who you say you are, or at least have some good fakes. No, you should be you. And then you can use your balance to scoop stuff, which is pretty exciting. It feels a lot easier using that money than my own money to go buy things. So we love that. So I'm excited to talk to Pete about that, to see if he's been out there scooping some stuff. Yeah, I'd love to know in the chat too. Have you all KYC'd yet? Have you all gone through that process? I started doing it and then realized I needed to take some pictures of stuff. So I was like, let's wait. And Mick letting us know the waiting room is open. That's actually a good reminder, Mick. I'm going to join the Q drop as well. And while we wait for Pete, I don't know if y'all saw this, but went on a little shopping spree in the Top Shot streets this morning. So we're out there buying. So let's take a look too. This is the other thing I wanted to look at, because I'll be honest, I haven't. I said this morning, but I was doing some stand up last night and totally like forgot we had football on. I forgot it was Thursday. I haven't started doing any homework on this week's slate. So the first thing I wanted to do is just do like a quick glance at the schedule for this week. So again, the Dolphins beating the Ravens, which everyone knew that was going to happen. And then we've got Bills Jets. So I imagine the Bills offense will be quite popular. Same thing with Bucks and Washington. I could see Tampa Bay options being popular. We got Cowboys and Falcons. That should be, I would imagine we get some shootout action in there. Saints, Titans, I probably would stay away from that for the most part. Although I don't know, I guess the Titans wide receivers have that card itself probably has new life now that Derrick Henry's out of there, right? We've got Indianapolis and Jacksonville. That is a game I will hope Red Zone doesn't turn to quite too often. Steelers, Lions, awesome, good little vomit bowl. Cleveland and New England. That one is going to be, well, I'm a Patriots fan, so it's interesting. But a lot of like weird injury stuff. I don't know if Damian Harris is playing this weekend for the Patriots. So that kind of stinks. Chargers, Vikings. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know. Is Dalvin Cook still playing, right? Is Dalvin Cook still playing? Yikes. That offensive wise, that should be pretty fun though, I would think. The Chargers wide receiver might be a little sneaky this week. We got Cardinals, Panthers, the return of the Mac. Cam. I don't know why we call him Mac. Cam. I mean, I assume Cam doesn't go in there and start right away, but I tell you what, Cam is starting soon. He's starting soon. I can't imagine the Darnold train has gained any momentum. We get Eagles and Broncos, Packers and Seahawks. That'll be a fun one as well, too, because we get Russ Wilson back this week, right? We get Russell, and then we've got the Raiders and the Chiefs. which that'll be a fun Sunday night game. I honestly probably think the Raiders win here because the Chiefs are dead. And then Rams-Niners. Rams, we now have the news, right, of Odell Beckham Jr. joining the Rams. I don't really know how much that changes anything. I mean, I guess it just gives them another third option, but I don't know. Who cares? That's how I feel anyways. Who cares? Now let's go over to the marketplace too, because I am curious how many buys we've been seeing. Like, has there been, let's go view sales here. I just, I'm always interested after the Thursday night game to see like what kind of movement there's been. So let's take a look here. Recent sales. These are buys happening. Oh no, yeah. What's today? Today's the 12th. Yes, a lot of action today. Look at all this action. So we've seen Denver tight end, the Miami defense. Okay, so the Miami defense did have a good performance last night because Miami got a defensive touchdown last night. Is that right? Was there a fumble into a touchdown? So the Miami D is going to be nice. Let's see, what else do we have? What else do we have here? Miami defense, Detroit running back getting scooped, Atlanta. I'm sharing screen, right? I just got nervous I wasn't sharing screen. A lot of Miami defense. So look at this. This is since noon. 1, 2, 3 Miami D purchases, 4 Miami D purchases. Okay. We've got the Miami D is live. The Miami D is live for this week. So that's good to see. What can we check too? I'm always intrigued by the Joker. I want to see how many Joker sales we've had lately. So let's see that. We can sort by Joker. Time's here. Good to see Time. And Jaybird says, good luck to everyone going for Top Shot packs. Team flip. Awesome. Then we get some team flip action. I should tell you guys, did you see our most recent tweet? Let me, hold on. Let me stop this for a second. And then I want to show you guys something while we wait for Pete as well. I don't know if you saw this Flow Metal. So we just tweeted about the Flow Metal right here. Look at this. We get the Team Hold merch. Look at Team Hold badge before merch. And then look at this Top Shot Tony. Only 69 available. So make sure you get your Top Shot Tony wherever you get your Top Shot Tonys. It's the Flow Metal. I'll be full transparency. I don't fully know what's happening over there, but we're having fun. All right, let's go back to the Joker buys. So we have seen, I want to search by Joker. Let's try this again. Did I have to enter? Because this is telling me this is not helpful. All right, let's start again. Let's see if I just start. Okay, we searched by Arizona. Now let's search by Joker. Let's see if it does it now. Okay, here we go. This is what I was looking for. So what we got? Let's open this up a little bit more. Because I'm also curious, like, what these prices are going for. I'm actually gonna. There we go. Can you all see that? It's still a little wishy-washy there, but still, Drunk Tree says still haven't won a flow pack. Hey, you don't need to win a flow pack to get one of those medals. That stuff's free, baby. The Denver tight end seems like a good cheap buy if Noah Fant's back. Yeah, I mean, we said that last week, right? I was thinking that Noah Fant was back, and or was hoping he was going to be back, and I was like, ooh, that's a pretty good matchup. So Noah Fant, that's a good call. So all right, we saw a Joker tight end Serial 4 go for $400, and that purchase was today. Interesting. The Joker Serial 1 went for $900. $929. Interesting. All right, let's go. Let's do it by position. So Joker quarterback, only two buys, November 10th and November 11th. For $460 and for $418. Okay, let's go to running back. 511. Okay, so we're starting to see like what the market is for these though, because we didn't see that for a little bit. There weren't a lot of purchases here. 929, and this I must have this filtered in like the last 1,000 sales. Okay, so not a lot of movement, but when they do, look at the price difference here between number 1 929, number 2 371. I mean number 17 371. Tight end, we saw a couple of theirs, right? Okay, 395, and then defense, I imagine, is a little bit cheaper. Yeah, 225. Well, that's good. Good to see we're getting some movement over there. Oh, I heard that fun noise. Which means we have a special guest. What's up, man?
Hey, sorry, running a little late over here, Good. But if there's anyone I can leave on their own to do a solo stream, it's you.
Yeah. Yeah, Colin Coward of of NBA Top Shot.
Is that what they call you now?
I was just thinking of someone who does a radio show by themselves for 4 hours at a time.
Yeah, there you go. I wasn't sure if that was an actual nickname that the people had given you around these parts.
Like most nicknames, I had to give it to myself. I gave my
all the best nicknames are self-given.
Dude, I was looking at recent buys after last night, and I saw the Miami defense was pretty popular. That got scooped like 5 or 6 times since noon today.
What was their point total on here?
I don't know. I don't know what their official point total was.
Go to the research tab.
There we go.
And then team scoring weekly. I think we should be able to see it there.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, good call. Thank you. I didn't know this existed. So, wow, Miami wide receiver with 25 too. That's not bad. Defense get 21 points.
Yeah, 21 is going to be. I mean, and one of the things we'll talk about here is just like looking at the defensive projections, and like the Cardinals have the highest projection at 10 points. So like a 21 point like defensive projection is just massive.
Right.
Or score.
It was good to see. My favorite thing is seeing like how many things get scooped as the game's going on. Like I'm sure once the touchdown was scored last night, people were like, okay, I got to get in the marketplace and get the Miami ones. Cause I mean, how many of those were left up for cheap? You know, like someone put it on the marketplace a while ago and is not seeing that they just like scooped a touchdown.
I know you almost need to be able to list on a timer. Like I know the Lucky Trader Chrome extension now for OpenSea, like you can have something delist at a certain point. It's like I need my Miami Dolphins card to delist when the first quarter starts, because I don't want to get caught after it's pumping.
Right. But that's kind of the only thing that's like, I can't imagine a lot of people are going to roll out Lamar then if he didn't crack 20. Jacoby and Tua, like I don't think you're going to see that moment used quite a bit. So I guess Miami wide receiver is probably going to be in play with 25.
Yeah, Miami wide receiver. I mean, that's still, I don't even know, like looking at the team projections, I mean, 25 is like really middle of the road.
Yeah.
Like that's like, I'm seeing Seattle, Chargers, KC, Minnesota, Green Bay, Tampa, Arizona, LA, Dallas, and Buffalo, all with higher projections than that. So that's probably not even one you want to toss into the main event.
No, I don't think so. How have you been handling that? Like because like last week was such a interesting case study of it because the Jets and the Colts like both went crazy. How have you been handling like if you have two or just a card itself like go nuts? Are you like, okay, I'm going to put this in a side hustle and like secure maybe a little bit of money back, or are you shooting for the moon every time in those main contests?
Yeah, I thought last Thursday was actually an interesting one because it was just so obvious the best play, the Jets QB and Colts running back. And so, yeah, your first instinct is like, oh, everyone's going to be rolling this out main event. I'll go lock up money and side hustle. But then I actually ended up going the other direction with it. And I was like, you're headed toward, because with the side hustle that you're for sure going to be duplicated.
Yeah.
That there's just going to be 15. I think there ended up being 16 people who rolled that out. Whereas in the main event, is if you're going to roll out the QB and running back, that's fine. But there's all these other ways you can mix up your lineup. And so even if people are jamming, the chalk, Chiefs tight end or the chalk Steelers D, like I'll just go down and I'll give myself a shot to not be duped. Whereas in the side hustle, you just know you're drawn dead to be unique.
It's funny. I wouldn't have thought of that either. But before we had gone over the scoring from the week before, I'd like looked at what the side hustle, the standings were for the side hustle the week before. And it was like the top 23 were tied with some variation. I think it was like Tampa quarterback and maybe Tampa wide receiver. It might've been like stacked in that way. Yeah. And once I saw that, I was like, oh, okay. So people are like, you're going to have so many ties in here where it's a lot harder to have that when you have to get 5 things right versus just getting 2 things right.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And that's why, I mean, there is the game theory with all of this is getting pretty fun. And I think with that Thursday night stuff too, but yeah. And also like, let's just be honest, at the end of the day, I'm more chasing winning a live final seat and getting first place. So if I can improve my chances to do that in the main event, I'm going to do that. Even if I sacrifice a little EV of being like, okay, I could lock in a $75 side hustle min cash. It's like we all want to get first and get the live final seat.
I know. I have two goals. One is Miami. The second one is to just get back what was invested in. Like I was like, if I could just win back whatever the dollar total was that I dropped on these packs, would also enjoy that by the end of the year.
Tea time
here. Just gonna share this.
Yeah. And I feel this is why I've had so much fun with it, because I think there is a ton of parallels. It's obviously a much more simplified thing because we don't have specific players. We don't, in a DraftKings lineup, you have 9 spots versus 5. But I think you should be approaching it with the same kind of game theory mindset.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, that's what we've talked about too. Just like finding. I'm excited to talk to you about it because I know you've been messing around with like projections and stuff. But this whole idea of like ownership and how different do you need to get?
Yeah.
Right. Because we know it's not. I mean, it's not really like a single entry in the sense that like everyone's got 3 entries, right? So you can do it 3 times if you want to, but it's like how many people owned the Chiefs wide receiver, right? Like how many of those are out there, and then trying to like gauge like where people are playing. So the whole ownership idea of it, I find like very interesting, and I still don't know. I haven't wrapped my head around like how to break that down yet. It's just being like, okay, I think this is a high total, so maybe we'll see people go in this spot.
And I will say this week isn't just because so many teams that project well this week are coming off of really bad weeks. It's not the best week to be like, oh man, everyone's going to jam, Buffalo wide receiver. I mean, they still look to me like the best, wide receiver cohort, but they've been pretty bad as well. But I think in general, the way I would think about it is in the same way for the people who play small field DFS contests or 3 max single entry, you'll see the best plays get steamed way more than in the Millie Maker. Where let's use Dearness Johnson as an example this week. His ownership in the Millie Maker might be 25-30% as the most popular play. In a small field spy, he might be 50, 55, 60%. Right. And so maybe a parallel to that would be how people use their Joker cards. That the Joker's almost the steam, right? Like if there's a super obvious cohort, let's say it is the Bills this week, if someone has their wide receiver Joker, they're probably going to use that on the best play. Right. And so the best play is probably going to get steamed to a point where the ownership is not as reflective as their chance of being the top scoring wide receiver cohort. So my thesis has kind of been that the second tier of these positional groups, like when Chiefs tight end is the most popular, well, going down to the Las Vegas or Atlanta tight end, you're getting similar projection and far less ownership. So that's just how I've been kind of thinking through it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm fortunate enough that I have a Joker wide receiver, and I still haven't figured out how to like utilize it properly. Or maybe I have, I just haven't hit like the right week yet. But like this past week, I can't remember what I did this past week, but I've either been including them in a stack. Like I have the Rams quarterback, but I don't have the Rams wide receiver. So if I roll Stafford out, I'll throw that in there. Or I'll use it. I'm trying to think of another good. Like I had Lamar. I think the week they played the Bengals, I had like Lamar and then the the Ravens tight end, and then like ran it back with the Bengals wide receiver. And that's how I've been trying to use it to like correlate it a little bit.
I think that's the sharp way to use it. And it's also the way that is more, financially, responsible too, because it's saving you money from having to go out and complete a stack. You're able to use that, and you're not just jamming in the chalkiest best play when you do that.
And so is that how you've been like utilizing the marketplace? Have you just been trying to stack everything up?
So I've kind of completed, like I have enough of my stacks that I like, that I feel decent about it. Like I have Buffalo stack, I have a Dallas stack, Arizona stack. So I have like some of the main ones. I normally will go shopping to fill in pieces. Like last week I noticed, holy cow, I don't have one top 8 projected defense. And I was like, this probably is going to really cap my upside. And so I went and bought Steelers and Patriots defense. And I'm basically just kind of like filling holes, because I'm like, I check the projections, and if I feel like I'm rolling out, 3 really solid lineups that project well, maybe I don't feel the need to go shopping. But I've had other weeks where I'm like, I don't like my running backs, and I scooped up LA running back because they were cheap relative to how they were projecting. Maybe we could do that too, of shopping for some of these higher end stuff that might be a little undervalued. And that's where I'm finding looking at the projections helpful, because I think we all intuitively, know which backfields and stuff are good, but there's still a lot of fluctuation on a week-to-week basis. Like you could say Cleveland, right? They've been the best running back card outside of Indianapolis this year, and now they're projecting like a bottom 10.
Right.
Things change quickly.
They do. Yeah, that's why don't we talk about your projections a little bit first, and then, or like how you've been utilizing. I mean, I guess it's pretty self-explanatory how you'd be using projections to build your lineups. Yeah. And then after we do that, maybe we can go look at the marketplace and to see if there's anything. The other thing that I've noticed too, I think I texted you about this, but I saw we did the show last week. I noticed like, oh, McCaffrey's coming back, and he was like $30 on the marketplace. And it's like, I think there's some edge there when like people are coming back from injuries like that.
So these are projections, and I'm using just the ETR standard projections that obviously match up with the Owners Club scoring settings. And it looks like when I updated, I did forget to do my full sort, so they're not in perfectly descending order with some of the updates here. But basically, what I've been doing it as is just as a check to see what I have, see what the optimal lineups are, see if I can make lineups that are similar to the optimal without sacrificing too many points. And so you can see right here, Buffalo stack with Indy running back, Atlanta tight end, and Arizona DST. That's your optimal lineup for this week, and probably a pretty good starting point to know what are going to be chalky jokers and cards.
Right.
Although, what do you think, Mike? Because some of them, like the tight end, might be more counterintuitive, where maybe Atlanta isn't the chalk play.
I think people are still programmed to go like Las Vegas, still programmed to go, even though like Kelsey's been bad. I feel like they'll go to Kansas City. You're like, oh yeah, Kelsey. Like if you think of any of the tight ends, Kelsey and Waller are the guys most likely to just go bonkers, right? Or at least they're not so far this year, but I think we're programmed to still think that they are. So I don't know if Atlanta would be super popular.
Yeah, and the other thing too, and you were mentioning with the correlation and a way to basically get unique and get more of a boost. So like this week, I mean, you have a perfect correlation standpoint with the Dallas stack and Atlanta tight end.
Yeah. That's what I was just thinking too, because I have a Dallas quarterback, and it's like, okay, maybe I do have to go buy this Atlanta tight end that, or even like, and I know I don't think it's popping here, but like Cordell Patterson or the Atlanta running back, just in general, like you're soaking up so much usage, both from like wide receivers and like their wide receiver load and their running back load. I feel like that would be an interesting bring back as well. Although I'm sorry, I'm seeing that right there in the third lineup. I missed it.
If just to clarify for tea time here, so these are the Owners Club specific positions. So I'm using the ETR projections, but then I'm adding together all of the Minnesota wide receivers, total a 28.9 point projection. So these are true Owners Club projections. And that's the only tricky thing, and why you'll see stuff that looks different from it. It's not just one player. It is adding up the full projections for all the wide receivers, which is obviously the goal of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, so I don't. Well, yeah, what do you think about that tight end spot then? Do you think, like, do you land in that same line of thinking, or do you think people are sharper than that?
Yeah, I'm generally trying to correlate, or just make sure. And you can look at how flat that scoring is up there. I mean, you have all of these guys. I mean, Falcons look like the only ones that are truly separating, and then you have Las Vegas, KC, obviously Miami didn't get there, but Chargers and Baltimore obviously didn't get there as well, but all very flat up there. So I think tight end, and this was what I was thinking through last week with the super chalk Jets and Colts, was just get unique with tight end and defense, because it's super flat and the touchdowns are very highly variant. And so just go down to one who's projected for 2 points less, and you're not actually giving up that much, and your lineup's not going to be duped.
Yeah. And you know what now, Pete, I'm thinking about it, like looking at these projections and then revisiting last night's game. I don't think anyone's thinking Baltimore put up any points, but the Baltimore tight end got 12.3 last night.
Right. And and we've seen plenty of weeks where, and I feel like that is the gray area where I don't have a great solution for how to play that, right? Like if I had unlimited inventory, I'm probably not playing that card. But if I had only 8 tight ends or 7 tight end cards, I'm probably going to play that card.
Yeah. I think I'm thinking about the tight ends I own, and like if we're seeing the highest projected one is 14 and they landed at 12.3. I mean, I'm sure like who knows, the Chargers Jared Cook catches 2 touchdowns or something weird like that happens. But I kind of like getting 12 from tight end, where more often than not you land in like the 6 to 8 range with them, I feel like.
Yeah. And like FF Doom in the chat's referencing kind of Detroit's low projection, which we all, associate TJ Hawkinson as a top tight end. But you also have to realize we don't have the PPR scoring here. And the other thing that highly impacts projections in general are just like team totals. And Detroit in that game against the Steelers, they don't have a big team total. You don't have the PPR. You don't have a secondary tight end like, say, the Tampa Bay Bucks do, where you might say, OJ Howard or Cameron Brate can score. So that's why I think that Detroit tight end takes a little bit of a hit. But again, think about a touchdown is worth 6 points. Every one of these projections can just get blown to pieces with one touchdown. That's ultimately what you're chasing.
Right. Deep threat too, with the interesting thought. I keep forgetting about this contest as well. I think about the side hustle and the low ball, and I forget that we have that tight end defense specific contest as well.
Yeah. And that's what's fun too, is like now there are so many different use cases through it too. And it's also been why I've been reluctant. Like I have 2 Las Vegas tight ends. And at first I was like, oh, I'll go sell this in the marketplace, and get another unique card. And then I was like, well, I could just have this, hammer play in the tight end defense contest that most people wouldn't want to put there.
Right. I know. I was thinking the same thing. Like anything that I doubled up on, I'm like, oh, like I think I have 2 Dallas tight ends and 2 Atlanta running backs. So I'm like, oh, I can go flip that and buy something else. And I'm like, yeah, but they've been killing like every week, both of those cards. I'm like, I just play them both twice.
I know, seriously. And I'm excited too. I got my KYC straightened out, so I now can use my my balance to go spew and buy more stuff in the marketplace.
That's going to feel a lot better. That will feel a lot better. So speaking of the marketplace, when I pull that up and like we can keep referencing the projections you're using as well, and just kind of like see, maybe Atlanta tight end is somebody that we like look at, because I don't know if that will be a super popular play.
And that's what I think, what I ultimately want to be able to do. And I was actually talking with Justin and those guys, and I think they're going to hopefully work on this, is allowing us to download or just have a really easy table that shows the floor price for all these positions. And then we can quickly scan and be like, wow, there's a huge discrepancy. Like Buffalo and Dallas wide receiver is super expensive, but for some reason, Arizona wide receiver is half the price. And yet you look at their projection and it's not projecting that much worse. So I'm excited to kind of exploit those, discrepancies on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah. And I'm looking at the quarterback projections too. There's probably nothing like too sneaky about this week. The only thing I could think of is that Russ is back. And I don't know how many people are paying attention to Russ being back. Like thinking about what could be available in the marketplace right now.
Yeah. And the other thing too, it is figuring out, like when we do DFS, right? Like if you're running a Tampa Bay stack, like you're going to be able to find, a bring back. You might go McLaurin, you might go Logan Thomas. Whereas like in this format, you're not using Washington wide receiver as a bring back if you're doing, say, Tampa Bay quarterback, Tampa Bay wide receiver. But would you entertain Washington tight end? You see, they don't project super well, but if you're also trying to win a contest, maybe Washington is having to chuck it a bunch and it gets there.
And with that position specifically, right, where it's not you're not so concerned about volume, you're just concerned about falling in the end zone, and that can like flip it. So yeah, that makes sense to me.
And
that makes sense to me.
And then there's some of these where you're trying to see how could these stacks potentially fit. And like another one that I think fits really well would be like, you're not getting excited to roll out Minnesota QB, Minnesota wide receiver, even though Minnesota wide receiver is a good play, but you could be excited to roll out LAC QB, which projects third highest, LAC wide receiver. And then you use Dalvin Cook, the Minnesota running back, as your bring back in that stack.
Right. That's ideal. I mean, if you have something like that, I think that's like such a great starting point, and a little unique as well. Here, before we go over to the marketplace, this is a nice little segue. T-Time says, what do you think about the floor of the marketplace considering the cost of the cards? The marketplace underpricing these cards, or does this feel accurate? Have you dug into that at all? Have you been like, based on like what pack price was and everything like that, or?
I haven't been doing that. I've been more just situationally being like, can I build a full set of lineups that I feel really good about with my set? And if not, I'm going to go plug those holes. So I haven't been monitoring the marketplace as much. And that's why I'm kind of excited and pushing them to get kind of a more easy display for floor prices and stuff. Because I do think it's a little hard right now to kind of always get a gauge of where prices are. It'd also be really cool to have like a market watch of like this card is down over the past 24 hours, etc.
Yeah, no, that would be great. All right, let's pull this up right now, because I'm seeing too that we can at least like sort by. So right now we're looking at quarterback from like cheapest possible, and so obviously right we're looking at the Washington and Jacksonville. But let's take a look at like Minnesota, right? Oops.
Yeah.
Hold on, what's going on? Let's take a look at oh, I gotta connect my wallet. Because that was one that you said like, oh, if you can stack that up a little bit. Or no, you didn't say Minnesota. We were talking about the other side of it, right?
Yeah. I mean, how much? I am just curious. So Minnesota QB is pretty cheap.
29, yeah, or 0.006.
And I mean, you know, looking back, I mean, they're projecting for 19.2 points. I mean, the top quarterbacks, to me, that's getting into territory where you're probably sacrificing too much ceiling. And again, we talk about, like, you think about DFS. Could you roll out a Kirk Cousins double stack in the Millie? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's the Millie Maker contest with 200,000. Like, this is a contest with, what's our field size? Like 2,000 people?
Yeah, max.
Yeah. So, I mean, then you're saying, okay, you're probably sacrificing too much for this size contest, and it's probably too cute of a play.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But this, on the other hand, I love this play. If we can get the Chargers in there. But now this is here. Let me blow this up a little bit more so I can see. So it's looking at 125 for like the lowest ask, which is still a little pricey, but I feel like that I'm really excited about that game just in general. I feel like that has a chance of like really popping off.
And what's an interesting another potential arbitrage here is, so I actually let's compare. Like, oh, so you're on Los Angeles QB, or were you just on Los Angeles wide receiver?
No, I think I was just on QB. I can go to wide receiver though. You want me to go to wide receiver?
Yeah, I was just curious because Los Angeles wide receiver isn't projecting as well as Los Angeles QB. Like, Los Angeles QB Chargers is a top 3 quarterback, whereas their wide receiver cohort is, I think, like top 9 in the projections.
That feels, one of those feels wrong then.
Right. Yeah. But again, too, it kind of makes sense. Like, if you're thinking about like median projections, and I'm guessing Mike Williams' projection has come down a little bit lately. Yeah. And again, you talk about someone like Mike Williams, you add a touchdown to his projection. Now all of a sudden they're a top 3, play on the slate. And so that's why I do think the correlation can help break those ties for you, and why I'm trying not to be too much of a slave to the projections. I just want to make sure I'm not giving up too many projected points, but then also understanding that there's a ton of variance there.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you're playing the LAC QB, if they hit the high end of their outcome, well, then the LAC wide receiver is as well.
Right. And that's what we're trying to hit the high end of the outcome. Like if we're rolling that out there to begin with. Also, I do need your feedback on this, because we have Mihal is one of our international fans who's not here with us today, but when first got involved in TOC, thought he got a Thunder Horses card, which is what he calls his team. And I think the Chargers need to rebrand, because Thunder Horses is great.
It's also funny because I mean I would say Lightning Horse, but there's no visual representation of Thunder, and Thunder Horse just sounds so much cooler anyway.
It sounds so much cooler. Yeah, there
awesome.
we go. We get some Thunder Horses left. All right. So anyone else that, like, when you're looking at the projections, that you're like, oh, I bet this is a little bit more under the radar that people aren't going to be excited to play?
Well, how about this one? I haven't checked in on this. I'm curious, how has the market been handling Cordero Patterson being a thing now with Atlanta RB? Because that's starting to project really well, and you're also getting the Mike Davis points. And I'm curious how that is.
Dude, $36 is the floor on that. And that puts up points every single week. They put up points. Because I put it in the low ball for a while, and I just kept getting murdered by it.
Right. And so this is similar to the last week I bought the Los Angeles Rams running back, because they were projecting top 3, but were super cheap. In this week's version of that looks like Atlanta running back, because they're projecting as the third best running back. It's Indianapolis running back, Dallas running back, and then Atlanta, and they're here for, $36. That looks pretty good to me.
And to me, that is like I mean, if you have the Atlanta tight end, cool. I think that's a great bring back as well. But the idea of having Dak, Dallas wide receivers, or Dallas tight end, and then coming back with this running back is pretty nice.
Yeah, I agree. I think you could totally do Dallas, and you could do the thing about this game, and the puzzle pieces as far as Owners Club actually align pretty well, because I think Dallas tight end, they're not projecting quite as well, but I mean, I kind of think Schultz is now just like a top tight end.
He's so good.
And I think if you don't have the Dallas wide receiver and you wanted to do Dallas QB, Dallas tight end, and Atlanta running back, like I still think the correlation is strong enough that it would warrant those having like a chance to be the top lineup.
So asking for myself, if you had the Dallas quarterback, Dallas tight end, and Atlanta running back, would you roll that out and use a different wide receiver core for the Joker? Or do you think it just makes way more sense to play the Dallas wide receivers as your Joker? And then you can either throw in a different tight end or just like go like nuts and stack the hell out of that game.
Yeah, I think I would stop at max 3 cards per game. And I think there probably could be some exceptions to it, but you'd probably want a total that just was like outrageous, like that was nearing like a 60-point total, because if this is going to be so touchdown heavy that you're going to need just an extreme outlier game like that Jets Colts game for that to work. I'm kind of torn on that. I still would kind of lean to it. And the other thing, we're mentioning the correlation. You can still, in the same way we do with DFS, like the correlation can be a secondary correlation. You could use Atlanta running back and Dallas tight end, or Atlanta tight end and Dallas running back actually projects really well. And then you set up another stack elsewhere. So I just think of the correlation as like a tiebreaker and stuff, but it doesn't always have to be just the quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, that is going to be a fun game. I'm excited for that one too.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what other price might be interesting to look at. Las Vegas running back projects really well, just because you're getting both the Drake and Jacobs, and I'm going to guess they're pretty cheap.
I would think so too. Let's see. Yeah, 27. Wow, $27.
And two, the nice thing, I mentioned the correlation, like Dallas running back with Atlanta tight end, but I don't even think that's a huge deal. I think running back is probably one of the best ones to play as one-off plays if you don't have something. And so, a Las Vegas running back in this spot. I wonder if some people maybe would be scared off to use this just under the assumption that like, KC is going to get up and they won't be able to run the ball as much. But I think it's still a pretty good play.
Yeah. Also, when's the last time KC's gotten up?
True.
Like we haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah.
I think that's a good call too. I don't think you're going to see a lot of people gravitate towards something like that, or towards a play like this. Or what are you doing with Kansas City plays just in general right now? Like, have you shifted towards putting them in low balls? Like
I haven't gone that far. I actually only have KC tight end. I don't have any other KC cards, so they actually haven't been a source of frustration for me. Have you been using them, or just using like Joker for them?
Yeah, let's go over. I'll build one just so we can go to Miami, but I'll show you where. So I believe I have, I can sort by team, right? I believe I have the quarterback and the running back. And so at the beginning of the year, I had been running out stacks like, probably big braining DFS stuff where I was like, well, maybe Mahomes throws the check down to CEH and he runs it in, or he catches a touchdown pass. So I've been like stacking them a little bit, but the KC running back has now gone into my low balls.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how we've come here. And I mean, this is why the NFL is just so crazy that you can literally go from KC low ball to Jets QB in the optimal lineup. Like, what other sport would that happen?
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I mean, even last night's game, I didn't watch last night's game. I totally forgot it happened. I was out doing a show. And when I came back, I was like, oh, it's Baltimore, Miami. Who cares? I was like, Miami 22-10. I'm like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, that is the one. I mean, we have two things. We have Showdown DFS and we have the Owners Club to make these awful Thursday night games, somewhat interesting. Otherwise, I don't know how you could sit through it.
Just, hey, thank God we can use the Thursday information and then build the lineup versus having to lock that in Thursday afternoon.
I know. I'm kind of jealous of you guys that have jokers. I mean, I'm obviously jealous, but part of me, I feel like I would be very paralyzed with where to use them. Part of me just likes knowing, like, all right, these are my cards, these are my stacks, and I don't have to wrestle with that decision.
Yeah, I really don't want to sound like the guy complaining because he's got too much money, but
Yeah.
that is what it feels like every week. Where I was like, oh, if you actually just played the Chargers wide receiver that you have, you would have won. And it's like, no, instead I like big brained it with the Joker play.
So what are you debating with? Like, what would be kind of your main stack you'd be trying to complete this week?
So, all right, if we look at, let me just start with my quarterback and go from there. So I'm fortunate in my quarterback situation, right? Where I got the Baltimore, Dallas, KC, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Washington. I thought I had Chicago as well, but maybe not. So, and I had Aaron, the Green Bay one, and traded that a couple weeks ago for the Dallas running back and the Chargers tight end, I think. But I think the main stack, right? If I start with the Dallas quarterback and then throw in that Atlanta running back that we talked about.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And then
you're basically cheating, right? In that you're getting Cordell Patterson, you're getting some of the wide receiver points, and you're getting all of the running back stuff too.
Right. It's almost like matchup proof, where if they are behind, whatever, they're still going to throw and Patterson will catch it. And if they're ahead, maybe Mike Davis runs it in. So, and yeah, going from there, this is the dilemma I have now, where I can just throw in, I could take the 12 points from the Baltimore tight end. I could throw the Dallas tight end in there, one of the two that I have, or New England and Tennessee, or go to wide receiver and then use that Joker for the wide receiver slot.
I would say, like, for this, I would definitely be wanting to get the Dallas wide receiver stack in. And then I don't even know what the system looks like for set. I was actually curious. How does this work? Well, now I got to see how you do it.
Yeah. So you throw it in and then you just pick a city.
Wow. I hate you. It looks so nice. I think, and the other thing too, as we were talking about like DFS concepts you could apply to this stuff too, is like, what are going to be super other popular stacks that you might be able to leverage with your tight end position. So I saw you had Chargers tight end.
Yeah.
And if that's going to be a popular stack, it's like, well, what happens if Parham and Jared Cook each get 2 TDs? That not only does that stack fail, but now you're really cooking in your lineup as a leverage play.
Yeah. No, that's where I would go here, I think, because if I'm trying to go to Miami and not just trying to get like $100 back, I think that is the play. It's the Los Angeles one. I'm always tempted to play New England because it feels like they're tight. Like Hunter Henry gets a touchdown every week.
Well, have you heard the new rumor this week?
Is it Jonnu week?
Jonnu getting some running back snaps if Davian Harris is out.
No.
Yeah, that's the hot rumor on the street.
Oh, that might.
That's gonna suck you right in.
I'm back. No, I think the Chargers is the right play.
Use that for like the island of misfit, the tight end defense, a little New England Jonnu running back points.
That's Jonathan says, are we talking packs now? We're talking TOC. Although, Pete, are you buying Top Shot packs today?
What time is that at?
I think 15 minutes.
So I need to get in the queue?
Get in the queue. You can buy 5.
All right. Yeah, okay. They lowered it, right? From 10 to 5?
Yeah, they lowered it.
Did you get any on the first?
No, I didn't get any. But Kelsey got 10.
Kelsey? Is she sharing any with you?
Yeah, we split them. But I had to pay for them. But
wow.
Are
you guys one of the couples that do like the Venmos back and forth, and so your like Venmo description will be like Top Shot packs?
Yeah, the NFTs.
Yeah. All right, I'll enter the queue. Thank you for the reminder.
Wait, Jonnu a goal line back?
That's what I mean. I'm pushing for Ramondre Stevenson, but I mean, why not? It could be Jonnu.
Could be. It's going to be whatever we don't expect, I would imagine. Hunter Henry's actually going to be the one taking the carries, is what it'll end up at.
Should we try to build a low ball lineup?
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to throw a defense in here. This is where I need to go shopping, I think. I mean, the Tampa Bay defense is nice. And who are they playing? They're playing
Washington.
So that could be probably my best bet. Although Philly gets points, which has been fun.
Yeah, Tampa. See, yeah, this is the same spot I ran into with that. Yeah, Tampa looks fine. They look like top 5 defensive play. The only ones that look like they're projecting better would be Indy, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and Arizona.
Okay. That's probably tight end and defense is and running back. Actually, I could probably afford to go shopping. But yeah, let's build a low ball. Do you want to build one? Or you want to do it on mine?
Yeah, I can do it. Let me get my stuff pulled up here.
Do we get a +1 if we go to Miami? Because I think we're like if I think you got to, because we built this together. If I go, you come with.
Yeah. Well, this is always the dilemma of you win the live final seat, and do you bring one of your bros, or do you try to keep your relationship intact and bring your wife or your fiance?
Yeah, that's true. I was gonna say you could make the argument that by bringing one of my bros, I am keeping my relationship intact, but.
I would just like to assume that all 4 of us would go down to Miami and have a good time.
Yeah, that's the right way to answer that question. We're gonna edit the first part of that out.
Okay, let's pull up my low ball here. I will share the screen. I'm on my I'm away from my home setup. I'm at a hotel, and so I'm doing everything on my Mac, and I'm not used to. It's very hard for me without my big monitor setup. I'm struggling today.
You doing anything fun this weekend?
It's Lauren's sister's birthday, and so we had like booked a hotel out by them for another thing that got canceled, and they wouldn't refund us, so they were just like, we were just saving it for some random weekend, and that is this weekend. So instead of being out doing stuff, I'm doing content all day in a hotel room.
Get this up here.
Okay, so let's see here. I want to pull up my spreadsheet looking at what some of my worst cards are. So I have a Jets quarterback and a Jacksonville quarterback, which look like probably.
I would think so.
What did you say? Yeah, I can go through. I don't want to do Green Bay. Yeah, I have 2 Jacksonville quarterbacks. So
yeah, we're making 2 low ball lineups
and two Jets lineups. So I could double stack. Who do you think? Jets versus who are the Jets playing this week?
Jets are playing the Bills, right? And then the Jaguars are playing where is it?
The Jags are playing. Why are we
the Colts?
The Colts. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Jets then, right? Or I guess the Colts D's pretty good, but
yeah, let's do Jets. There is a little bit of risk there, like garbage time, Mike White catch up heroics or whatever, but
I know that is the thing, right? Like or just like these blowouts. We were talking about this I think it was 2 weeks ago, where everyone was like, Houston wide receiver, that's like the worst thing you have. You got to throw that in the low ball. But Houston every week scores like 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. The only thing that, Buffalo defense has been really good. So they could kind of give Mike White a lot of headaches. So as far as my running back options, what did you say Miami running back put up last night?
Yeah, I was just going to pull that up again. Team scoring weekly. All right, here we go. So the Miami running back, 6 points. The Baltimore running back, 6.2 for Miami. Baltimore was 5.9. And the Miami tight end was 5.7, although that's not terrible.
I feel like I have to do Miami running back. My next worst projected would be like Seattle running back, but even that is projected for 16 points, and this is a 6-pointer here.
Yeah, this is easy money.
Did you say, were you looking at the marketplace for what the Miami running back price was?
No, I hadn't, but I'll look at that right now. It was the Miami defense was the one that was getting scooped because they put up so many points. But what did you say, the Miami running back?
I wonder, like a theory too, it would be fun to see data on it, is that the positive performers see more movement after Thursday than the negative performers for low ball.
I'm seeing the cheapest Miami running back right now is $41.
Okay. So that's, people are buying that to play it.
Yeah. All right, so we got a wide receiver.
Let's go over to wide receiver. looking at my inventory here. So Atlanta wide receiver, what did you say Miami wide receiver did?
They actually had I think 25. They had a decent game.
So I wouldn't use that.
No.
I guess I would be deciding between Atlanta. I also have Carolina, Philly, and New Orleans are kind of, I have a bunch of good options.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. New Orleans. Because is Simeon still the quarterback this week?
Yeah. And, thinking about those games too of like, okay, the risk with Atlanta wide receiver though is that is such like a shootout that there's a lot of garbage time there. I think I would lean more toward like Carolina. I think that game will be really gross with PJ Walker. And then New Orleans, that game against Tennessee, I think both those teams are just going to run the ball the whole game.
Yeah, I do too.
Who do you think? Should I do New Orleans or Tennessee?
I think I would go, if I had to pick one of those teams to actually put up points, it wouldn't be New Orleans.
Yeah. They're so broken right now.
And listen, I sweat a lot of PJ Walker in my my XFL days, so I still have a soft spot in my heart for him.
Seriously. All right, now we can go to tight end. Mark Andrews ended up scoring, right? So Baltimore was somewhat okay.
Yeah, they were 12 points. What about now? Do you go to the Carolina tight end? Yeah, I was gonna say, do you?
It's interesting. I was just checking the projections. Buffalo tight end is the worst play. Well, them and Jets are project for 4 points. Carolina projecting at 6.7.
The only thing about the Buffalo tight end that scares me is like they're only going to catch one ball, but it is a touchdown.
I agree. Yeah. They get used less than Carolina tight ends, but are probably going to be in the red zone far more frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Let's do Carolina tight end. That's so dusty. And then defense, I have lots of good options here for bad defenses. Thank God for this low ball contest.
I love it. Low ball is my favorite. What has been so tilting though is 2 weeks this has happened where my low ball lineup was my highest scoring lineup.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, it's like how? I think I had a Houston stack. I think that's what it was. It was like a quarterback wide receiver and they threw for like 4 touchdowns.
Maybe what you need to start doing is hedging your owners club low ball lineup in the Millie Maker.
Just so there you go.
Roll out the Tyrod Taylor stack or whatever.
I love that.
All right, so I have good options here. We could do Washington, we could do Seattle, we could do Jets, we could do Minnesota. What do you think?
Yeah, the Bills feel like they're going to score 100 points after what happened last week.
I do kind of love that, the low ball. Although I guess you could say those are a little bit
negatively correlated.
Yeah, but I still don't mind it.
Yeah, because Washington is Tampa, right? So Washington has just been so bad defensively too that I don't hate that play either.
Yeah, and G Brady makes the point too that Dawson Knox is supposed to be back this week, which obviously will boost them.
Yeah. Again, I mean, for the same outcome, just like 2 catches, 9 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yep. This is I feel good with how bad this lineup is.
There you go. Tea time. We'll let YouTube know.
What is it?
I don't get it. He said on mobile you can't like at somebody in the chat, I think.
Oh.
There you go. This is great. So I said this before you came on, but I think Pete and I moving forward, we're gonna do like little home and away. So next week's show we'll do over on the Peter Overzet channel, and hopefully we're booking flights to Miami this time next week.
That's right. Yeah, we can. I don't know, and we'll also maybe we'll get a little head-to-head contest going.
I think we do. We should and find a like a fun little wager. I might have, or you might have. One of us froze.
I might have. Yeah. I'm the one on hotel Wi-Fi.
Honestly, it's been pretty good. Okay. All right, decent lighting too. Proud of you.
No, I was saying we could maybe with our main event we pick a lineup to be a head-to-head contest against each other.
I like that. Maybe it's me. You seem okay. Now you're frozen.
No, I think it's probably me. Am I
okay?
All right,
you're back.
I'm gonna
back.
All right, I'm back.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on. We'll do it over there next week, and Yeah, good luck, everybody. Let us know if you're buying anything in the marketplace, so we can tell on the moment we did a good job. So, all right, everybody, we're out of here.
See you guys.
Later.